Unwind Chapter 56, Connor. The dormitories are divided into units. There are 30 kids per unit, 30 beds in a long, thin room with large shatterproof windows to bring in the cheerful light of day. As Connor prepares for dinner, he notices that 2 beds in his unit have been stripped, and the kids who slept in them are nowhere to be seen. Everyone notices, but no one talks about it, except one kid who takes one of the bunks because his mattress has broken springs. "Let a newbie have the broken one," he says. "I'm going to be comfortable in my last week." Connor can't remember either the names or the faces of the missing kids, and that haunts him. The whole day weighs heavily on him. The way the kids think he can somehow save them, when he knows he can't even save himself. The way the staff keeps waiting for him to make a mistake. His one joy is knowing that Risa is safe, at least for now. He had seen her after lunch when he stopped to watch the band. He had been searching for her everywhere, and all that time she was right there in plain view, playing her heart out. She had told him she played piano, but he never gave it much thought. She's amazing, and now he wishes he had taken more time to get to know who she was before she escaped from that bus. When she saw him watching that afternoon, she smiled, something she rarely did. But the smile was quickly replaced by a look that registered the reality. She was up there, and he was down here. Connor spends so much time with his thoughts in the dormitory that when he looks up, he realizes that everyone in the unit has already left for dinner. As he gets up to leave, he sees someone lurking at the door and stops short. It's Roland. "You're not supposed to be here," Connor says. "No, I'm not," says Roland, "but thanks to you, I am." "That's not what I mean. If you get caught out of your unit, it's a mark against you. They'll unwind you sooner." "Nice of you to care." Connor heads for the doorway, but Roland blocks his path. For the first time, Connor notices that in spite of Roland's muscular build, they're not all that different in height. Connor always thought Roland towered over him. He doesn't. Connor prepares himself for whatever Roland might have up his sleeve and says, "If you're here for a reason, get on with it. Otherwise, step aside so I can get to dinner." The look on Roland's face is so toxic it could take out an entire unit. "I could have killed you a dozen times. I should have, because then we wouldn't be here." "You turned us in at the hospital," Connor reminds him. "If you hadn't done that, we wouldn't be here. We would have all made it safely back to the graveyard." "What graveyard? There's nothing left. You locked me in that crate and let them all destroy it. I would have stopped it, but you never gave me the chance." "If you were there, you would have found a way to kill the Admiral yourself. Hell, you would have killed the Goldens if they weren't already dead. That's what you are. That's who you are." Roland suddenly gets very quiet, and Connor knows he's gone too far. "Well, if I'm a killer, I'm running out of time," says Roland. "I better get to it." He begins swinging, and Connor is quick to defend, but soon it's more than just defending himself. Connor taps into his own wellspring of fury, and he lets loose a brutal offensive of his own. It's the fight they never had in the warehouse. It's the fight Roland wanted when he had cornered Risa in the bathroom. Both of them fuel their fists with a world's worth of anger. They smash against walls and bed frames, relentlessly pummeling each other. Connor knows this is not like any fight he's ever had before, and although Roland doesn't have a weapon, he doesn't need one. He's his own weapon. As well as Connor fights, Roland is simply stronger, and as Connor's strength begins to fade, Roland grabs him by the throat and slams him against the wall, his hand pressed against Connor's windpipe. Connor struggles, but Roland's grip is way too strong. He slams Connor against the wall over and over, never loosening that grip on his neck. "You call me a killer, but you're the only criminal here," screams Roland. "I didn't take a hostage, I didn't shoot a juvie cop, and I never killed anyone. Until now." Then he squeezes his fingers together and shuts off Connor's windpipe completely. Connor's struggle becomes weaker and weaker without oxygen to feed his muscles. His chest heaves against the absence of air, and his vision begins to darken until all he can see is Roland's furious grimace. Would you rather die or be unwound? Now he finally knows the answer. Maybe this is what he wanted. Maybe it's why he stood there and taunted Roland. Because he'd rather be killed with a furious hand than dismembered with cool indifference. Connor's eyesight fills with frantic squiggles, the darkness closes in, and his consciousness fails. But only for an instant. Because in a moment his head hits the ground, startling him conscious again, and when his vision starts to clear, he sees Roland looking down on him. He's just standing there, staring. To Connor's amazement, there are tears in Roland's eyes that he tries to hide behind his anger, but they're still there. Roland looks at the hand that came so close to taking Connor's life. He wasn't able to go through with it, and he seems just as surprised as Connor. "Consider yourself lucky," Roland says. Then he leaves without another word. Connor can't tell whether Roland is disappointed or relieved that he's not the killer he thought he was, but Connor suspects it's a little bit of both.